Good morning. Time for another morning edition of Mornings with Stanley. Got Stanley right here in front of me. Lucy's laying down right over there and just off on the other side of the door going into the den. And well, it's a cool morning. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. The high is supposed to be 68 or 9 today. This is fantastic. And it's only September. Usually we're just still burning up. And I'm sure that we will have plenty of burning up time for the rest of the fall. But I'm going to enjoy today, even if it is overcast. Anyway, Stanley's been barking all morning, or just the last few minutes anyway. He heard something outside. Lucy heard it first and started barking. And she just barked while she was laying down on the floor. And Stanley ran outside and started barking at something. I don't know what. Maybe somebody came in the driveway, or who knows, maybe I was about to get robbed and he saved me, or maybe it was nothing. Probably nothing. Anyway, I'm about to kick Stanley out of the room. I gotta go to work. Got a Zoom meeting today. So much fun. I haven't had one in a couple of months. We have clergy meetings. Now we're gonna do them every 2 weeks. I think every 2 months would be better. I don't know how often we're going to have them. Our first one's today. We're Zooming today. Let's go. And then we have our district conference on Sunday via Zoom. That's going to be a new kind of thing. So then we have our annual conference via Zoom. I guess a week from Sunday. Week from Saturday, I think. So that will be fun too. Gonna ruin my next 2 weekends. Don't tell anybody I said that, and that's not really true. It's not gonna ruin my weekends. Annual conference, I've always been, there's parts about the annual conference I really don't like, but it's good to see people that you haven't seen. You know, and I spend a lot of my time in the western part of the conference, so a lot of the people I know are in the West District. I don't know as many in this part, even though I've been here 4 years. You'd think I'd know more of it. I'm not very outgoing, so that makes a difference. But anyway, I'm going to go on and read our scripture reading today from the book of Acts. See, he's barking at something. I think I heard another dog bark. And I closed the dog door so he can't go outside. I'm mean. Anyway, I'm going to start halfway through verse 19 of Acts chapter 9 and read through 22. For several days, Saul, I guess at this time, was with the disciples in Damascus and immediately began to proclaim Jesus in the synagogue, saying, "He is the Son of God." All who heard him were amazed and said, Is not this the man who made havoc in Jerusalem among those who invoked his name? And has he not come here for the purpose of bringing them bound before the chief priests? Saul became increasingly more powerful and confounded by the Jews who lived in Damascus by proving that Jesus was the Messiah. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And now our reading from Christian Maturity, this 21st Thursday, week 21. Acts 9. Well, I just said that. It looks at the calendar for maturity. Let's see what this has to say. The implications of what we are saying about agape are tremendous in regard to maturity. Eros looks at the calendar for maturity. Agape looks at the Christ for the maturity. One looks at it as a long, drawn-out process. Sin and evil and imperfection are to be worn down by attrition through the years. The other looks at the most mature fact that has ever been struck on our planet, the fact of Christ, surrenders to him, begins a life of obedience to him, starts to walk with him, and finds to his utter astonishment that soul has become mature, almost unconsciously mature, overnight. Maturity was not sought for. Had it been, it would have been a self-conscious maturity, which of course would be immaturity. Maturity came as a byproduct of a great love within. It came from agape. I've seen people become mature in their attitudes almost suddenly. One moment they were introverted, self-preoccupied, and unhappy. The next moment they were self-released, cleansed from 1,000 canceling conflicts, with doubts dissolved. They were integrated, whole, and mature. The case of Zacchaeus shows an amazing maturity which happened in a few moments. One moment, he was a self-centered, grasping type of personality. Then next, he was mature in his outlook and spirit. Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anything, I restore it fourfold. Here's basically a mature attitude toward himself and money. Two areas where a lot of immaturity is found. Conversion is the greatest influence for maturity that we have. And the calendar didn't do it. Christ did. The very young, when gripped by agape, can be mature, and the very old, gripped by eros, can be immature. He was the biggest grouch in Trenton, so it was said, and here is what he said over the long-distance telephone to a friend. Everybody is different in Trenton today since the meeting of the high school last night with blank. Of course, it may be that only I am different because everybody seems different. He was mature overnight. I think that maturity, there's a maturity that comes with conversion, there's no doubt. Maturity that comes with faith, but it's still a lifelong process of growing more Christ-like. Sanctification is what we call it in Methodism, a sanctifying grace. The fact that God is working in us to make us more Christ-like. And yes, I think there's a lot of stuff that comes instantaneously, but there's a lot of growth that still needs to be done. I know, or maybe I'm just talking about myself. Maybe the rest of the world is mature and it's just me. But here's our prayer for today. I don't think that. I really don't think that. But I know I have some growth to do, and I know some other people who do too. But here's our prayer for today. Oh, Jesus, my Lord, one touch of you and my old immaturities vanish and my new maturities begin. For your impact is the impact of the perfect upon the imperfect. And I do not look to my perfection, but to yours. That releases me. Our affirmation for the day. My maturity depends upon the depth of my response, not the length of my years. Jesus is Lord.